Welcome to Back to the Bible. Today's topic, Joseph, doing the right thing. Joseph and Mary were betrothed. Their pledges to each other were considered as binding as marriage. But when Mary returned from a 3-month visit with her cousin Elisabeth, it was obvious that she was pregnant. Joseph was shocked. The child was not his. Clearly, she had been unfaithful. What was he to do? He loved her, and more than anything, he wanted to take her home with him and live with her in the usual marriage relationship. But hadn't she broken her solemn pledge to him? He was a righteous man, a man of principle, and he knew that God took the breaking of the marriage vow very seriously. With all his heart, he wanted to do God's will, and to him that meant divorce. He could have instituted a lawsuit against Mary for unfaithfulness, but he was kind-hearted. He decided to hand her a bill of divorcement, thus dismissing her quietly without exposing her to public disgrace. Though Joseph had decided on the action he must take, he found it almost impossible to make the transition from resolve to deed. While he was turning these things over in his mind, he fell asleep. Suddenly, an angel appeared to him in a dream and told him that it was by the power of the Holy Spirit that Mary had conceived. The angel told Joseph that he must not hesitate or be afraid to take Mary, his wife, into his home. Mary had not been unfaithful after all. Joseph knew this was a word from God, and he obeyed. Joseph did the right thing. We learn just enough about him in the Bible to know this is true. He cared for Mary in her pregnancy. He named the baby Jesus, just as the angel had instructed. He performed all the required Jewish rites for Jesus. He later trained him as a carpenter and made sure he had good spiritual training. It is obvious that he had looked toward the birth of Jesus with great anticipation and loved him very much. But that leaves a lot of questions unanswered. Joseph understood well that Mary's baby, Jesus, was the Messiah. The angel had told him, "How do you look forward to the birth of a child who is actually God? How do you nurture a child with a future role of such enormous consequence?" The Lord must have given him much grace in his difficult role. You and I face difficult problems in our lives. How can we cope? Joseph is a marvelous example for us. In all the little things, he did the right thing. He made the right decisions. And the accumulation of all these small details produced a life of faithfulness. Verse for today, his Lord said to him, "Well done, good and faithful servant. You were faithful over a few things. I'll make you ruler over many things. Enter into the joy of your Lord." Matthew chapter 25 verse 21. Your step for today. Determine to be faithful to the Lord in all things. Write down 3 ways in which you will show your faithfulness during the next week. Prayer for today. Ask the Lord to help you do more than just perform faithful acts. Ask Him for a faithful heart. God bless you.